of cricket. I am Isha Hanspal. India has decimated the visitors Pakistan by winning the match by 7 wickets with almost 20 overs to spare, thereby maintaining their 100% success rate in the tournament so far, and their record of 8 wins against Pakistan to their none in the World Cup meetings head-to-head. 79 runs for India in the first 10 overs. Since 1999, only one team has made more in a World Cup game against Pakistan, and that was India too in the year 2003. Well, India hit 11 boundaries in 7 overs, 6 of them of Shaheen Shah Afridi. With me in the studios, Dav Watmore, as always. Dav, not a cliffhanger, but definitely a big win for India.
Oh, absolutely. Huge win for India. And, you know, what turned out, what we were hoping to be a good game, sadly, it was a bit of a one-sided affair. Once that partnership was broken with Babar Azam and Rizwan, it was, you know, it just sort of fell off the cliff, really. Yeah.
Rohit Sharma got his 140 of 113 in their last ODI World Cup match against Pakistan in a rain-washed match. Well, India won that one by 89 runs, and it did look like he will be getting his 8th World Cup century in this one also today. And of course, a worthy mention of that 90-meter six of Haris Rauf, was it? Yes,
yeah,
it was certainly
good
something.
Hook shot, beautiful.
Beautiful shot.
Yeah, it was, and there he is, 86 runs, 14 runs short of that three-figure mark, which would have taken up to, what, nine hundreds. So, but what an innings he played, and he really did break the game open, you know, early on for India, and they just never looked back, really. 190 was never going to be enough.
Also, what's interesting here, Dav, is that Rohit was one of the key performers in their last meeting in 2019 in the World Cup as well. So was the case this time. Unfortunately, it wasn't Virat Kohli. We got a lot of support for Virat there from our fans here who were watching the game. But Rohit is the one who came to the party, and also Shreyas Iyer.
Yes, that was good. Good for Shreyas Iyer to come back into a bit of form, and that'll give him some good confidence moving on. The whole Indian batting lineup looks pretty strong. As I said in the break of the innings, boy, they're playing like a team that's world champions, to be honest with you. And Rohit Sharma now, with that knock today, is 217 on my maths, and which is the 3rd in the run scoring on this series. So de Kock has yet to play, Mendes has yet to play, but at the moment he's done really well, given that he got a duck in that first game. So he's done really well, and it looks all rosy for India moving forward.
Shubman Gill perhaps not back in full form. What happened there today?
No, he did. He looked good while he was there. A little bit unlucky, but it's an old saying, if you hit the ball in the air, there's a chance you could be out. So if he had either decided to go over the top or hit it along the ground, would have been a you know, much better outcome for him. But he looked good, you know, he just looked like, you know, he hadn't missed a beat, really. Little unlucky to get out, but yeah, I think he's in a good place.
What happened with Pakistan there?
Yeah, look, as we tried to explain
Sure, we know India went in as the strongest side, especially after that first innings.
Yeah, truly. Look, at 2 for 155, they were pretty well placed, you know. And there was some sense that if you broke that partnership, then, you know, the batsmen coming in weren't that experienced. And as it's a combination of perhaps expectations of a higher first innings score than perhaps what, you know, the reality was, coupled with some of these batsmen a little bit inexperienced with that huge distraction with the 120,000 or however many people were there. And then a fall of wickets. 1 wicket falls, becomes 2, and then you look up in the board. Every time you look up, you think, geez, if I get out, it'll be 4. If I get out, it'll be 5. And it just sort of snowballs. It takes somebody to say, no, I'm going to resist this and do a bit of a repair job, but it didn't happen.
A word from you on their bowling performance.
And the Pakistanis?
Yes.
Yeah, sadly, you know, they were on a hiding to nothing, to be honest. if they didn't get wickets early, it was going to be very difficult. And when you're striking an opening batsman captain in Rohit Sharma the way he's playing, gee, you really, really want and wish to remove him, fairly early, but it didn't happen. So when you're chasing a perceived smaller total and you're bowling second with a little bit of dew perhaps and the wicket easing out a little bit, it's a tough assignment. They're good batters, and if you don't get them early, this is the sort of thing that can happen to you.
I wonder if Digvijay has been able to join us virtually from the Narendra Modi Stadium. I'm told he hasn't been able to establish a connection with us.
He's getting to the
I'm pretty sure he's
filming spot.
Yes, he's managing to somehow reach the filming spot so he can get us all the updates as they transpired at the Narendra Modi Stadium today. It was a house full capacity today, wasn't it?
It looked pretty full, Isha.
Yeah, pretty full.
They panned around the ground and a lot of fans would have been happy what they saw. And the home team, of course, gave them what they wanted. Everybody, leaves happy. So from that point of view, Pakistan did their bit. But really, where do they go from now, from here? So they just really need to, take some gas, just breathe quietly, maybe a day and a half or 2 days. And then regroup and move on, because this is a bit of a confidence.
Lessons to learn for Pakistan as they go ahead in the tournament. What will they be taking home from this particular match?
Well, you just need to avoid all this stuff. However way you go about it, you just need to avoid collapses like that. They play some wonderful cricket, but I think the perception when you play against a big team like India, that's when you really are tested, and that's the sort of competition that players, I would think, would look forward to. So when you're playing these big teams, and there's still a couple to come for Pakistan, I would be trying extremely hard to ensure that doesn't happen and you are competitive. Losing is okay, but not to lose like this. You need to fight it out right to the end. Good, hard fought, close match, no problem. But this sort of loss is not preferable.
Purely on cricketing terms, was this a performance? Sure, India were great today on the field, but is this the performance that they should really feel proud of and take inspiration from as they go into their next fixture, Team India?
The statistics suggested they're going to win, didn't they?
Yeah.
But you can't go on statistics all the time. But it's an indication.
That's what I mean to ask, yes.
Yeah, it is an indication. Can they take this and move? Of course they can, yeah. I'm a little unsure who they play next. Maybe, I don't know, it doesn't matter who they play next. They are really on a roll now. And I can, I'm not anywhere near that team, but I can feel the confidence and the camaraderie and the
we
absolute...
have the points table.
Yeah.
If you can just fire that up again.
Yeah, they just look like a team that's going to challenge.
Especially the net run rate there.
There you go. So they are now topping the table with 1.821 net run rate. So wonderful. South Africa have a chance to join them on the points. And they too have a very healthy run rate. And if they win, they'll jump to number one, won't they, with their net run rate if they win. So, it's looking like... It's looking like those three teams may figure in the last four, and then you've got England who can win, and then they'll join the teams on 4 points as well. So it's starting to get a little bit of an indication on who's going to be there.
We also conducted polls. Let's begin with this. Can Pakistan reach the semi-finals? What's your take on this?
Well, they can, but this is a big setback, because reaching semi-finals...
Barring this game.
Barring this game, yes. But this game is a little indication of how they are going to react against top teams. So, and they didn't quite pass the test today. It's not to say they can't improve and pass the test next time. But the indications are that their confidence is knocked around a little bit, and they fail that test. They're gonna have to prove to a few people that they're worthy of being in the last four.
How much was the loss today psychological? We already spoke about the home ground advantage.
Yeah.
How much was it psychological? And the reason why I ask is, should they look to secure a spot in the semi-finals? Do you think if this loss is anything to go by and this was all psychological, should they really just concentrate on their cricketing prowess, and that alone can take them to the semi-finals?
Well, their cricketing prowess and their skill level is pretty good, but as I always say, when you cross that line, it's played in the head. And their result today, Isha, it's going to hurt psychologically. It's going to hurt mentally that, they weren't able to match it with a big team. So unless and until that happens in the next couple of games when they play the big teams, then they'll have that hanging over their head. They just need to turn that around against a big team and say, hey, now we know we can, we can match it with them, and every right to think they can be in the semi-finals.
If there was one problem that was ailing them in their lineup, where do you think that problem is? What is it that they need to concentrate on? Where do you think they can improve?
Well,
other than the psychological part of things.
No, well, that's right. With their batting, first of all, if you're batting first, you've got to get a reasonable score to on the board. You can't just get a below par score. So that is important. So if you are batting next time, and we talked about getting a start and getting out, you can't do that. You just can't, because you just don't know what will happen with the batsman coming after you. So now here we have captain and vice-captain, I think, they were batting, doing a really good job. And then in the space of a few overs, they both get out, set batsmen. So if at least one set batsman can go on and get a big, I don't know, an 80 or a 90, 100 preferably, then that would really help the team get a score. You would usually find that the team, that the person gets 100, gets a proper score to, they'll be able to hopefully be competitive and then maybe protect if you're batting first. If you're batting second, then you just got to get one run more than what you're looking at. So, if you get a start, you've got to go on.
Okay, let's take some comments now on No More with What More. Okay, Zishan asks, where does Pakistan go from here? I think we have broadly answered that question.
Well, that's right. They have a bit of soul searching to do, Isha. They really do,
Arun comments, what was the last close game in the World Cup with Pakistan when we felt that they would even come close to winning? I don't recall that it was even possible in the last 3 World Cups.
Perhaps,
There's a bit of a truth in that, though.
So the difference between the two teams are quite a distance, that's good for India, but Pakistan need to, show everybody that they are able to compete.
Rehan comments, Pakistan cricketers are indeed skillful. They have defeated almost every team in the World Cup except only India. It's more of a psychological defeat rather than defeat on cricketing fields. Indian cricket team is mentally too strong to be defeated against Pakistan in the World Cup.
Seems like a hurdle there, doesn't it? Now it's 8 times in World Cup matches. Yet if you look at bilaterals over the years, they have the edge on that. Maybe it's this tournament play that
gets to them.
They have a hurdle to jump over. And in India, it just grows an extra leg, when they play Pakistan. But really, I think the difference in the two teams is pretty evident for everyone to see.
Dav, this one is particularly to you, especially being the coach of Team Pakistan. Ex-coach, will this loss hurt Pakistan or motivate them to do better?
I think it should do both of them. It'll definitely hurt, and you would like to think that they should motivate themselves sufficiently to improve. Well, they're only words, but it has to be reflected in their performance in the next few games. So there needs to be some truth, home truths. that is said and also, truly understood. And then a small solution here and there to move along. You can't sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah.
You've got to meet it head on with your reviews in a nice way, but, firm way, and then move on, because they've certainly got enough skill.
Right. Yatin asks, has India peaked or the best is yet to come?
I don't think they haven't. You've got one batsman who's got runs, and 217 runs. Virat Kohli also has got some runs. I think it's Kohli. He's got 150 or something. I can put my glasses on. So he's also contributing. Now you have Shreyas Iyer contributing.
Yeah.
There wasn't much of a chance of a batsman making a contribution against Afghanistan when you've got Rohit Sharma batting like he did.
Yeah.
So, I don't think they've peaked because there's a number of other batsmen there just waiting to come in.
Yeah.
And as I said the other day, that as the tournament goes along and if the opportunity arises that you can give these other guys a go, I think that'll happen too.
So what is that one area that India needs to work on?
India?
Yeah.
They just need to keep it going. They really do. I think they need to prepare every game in the best way they possibly can. And that doesn't mean practicing. Most of the time, just having a little top-up here and there is the way to go. Some will need more practice than others, but the preparation and the build-up and to ensure that when you arrive at a game, you're fresh.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. And then again, they'll have to check out the surfaces and the opposition, and then you might tweak the 11. As we alluded to today, that I thought, the off-spinner, Ravichandran Ashwin might play. He didn't, and the team won very well. So there might be an occasion where they have to tweak it. They might want to give Shami a go. They might want to rest Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj. You don't know. One of those two, I think, at some point might have a rest, and Shami will go. You're not weakening the team by any stretch of the imagination. So, they just got to roll along and keep making the right decisions, I think.
So at this point in time, would you say that Team India perhaps have the most balanced bowling attack in the tournament?
They have one of them, one of the most balanced ones. I think South Africa also, with their wrist spinner there, their left arm spin, and also Aidan Markram bowling the off spinners. So I think that will be even a bigger blockbuster.
Yeah.
Because I think mentally they're pretty strong as well, South Africa. So that could be a really good contest. Not sure when that's going to happen, but when it does, it'll be something worthwhile to watch.
Vihan wants to know, where did Pakistan lost the momentum?
They lost it when they broke that partnership, that 155 for 2. Yeah. When it became 155 for 3. And then a few runs and then 4, 5, 6.
They never really recovered from that.
No, they didn't, and that was clearly a bit of a turning point. Yeah. And they weren't able to as you said, recover from that and post even a 220, 230. The past score was looking more like 260, 270. Not able to.
Like in the game against the one that Australia played against South Africa, if I'm not mistaken, Australia did try to, bat it out, reduce the margin of the defeat, but we didn't really see that here today. No. At least lose by a lesser margin, at least not let India's run rate go up that high.
It's true. And Australia, in that case, in that game you referred to, was chasing a score. So they were in a hopeless position, and the tail end of some of the bowlers came and whacked it a bit, and that was good. Some intent was there. But in this case, Pakistan had to bowl in second. And as we were saying, conditions just seem to ease on a little bit for the batting second, provided you get over that initial burst with those 2 new balls. And it's going to be, it's going to be a good time for the batters if you can get through that initial onslaught.
Right. Dav, a couple of quick polls. By the way, the answer, or rather the result for the poll that I asked you about earlier, can Pakistan reach the semi-finals? Of course, the vast majority saying no, 78% of them. 22% saying yes. Are India favourites to win the World Cup? 89.9% say yes.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think they're one of the favourites for sure. They'll play off in the last game.
Is Babar Azam the right man to lead Pakistan? That's an interesting one. What's your take?
Who else is going to lead them if he doesn't? You know, I think the fact that he got some runs today, he was under a little bit of pressure. Was also a little, you know, reflection of it's a good thing. You know, if he can continue to get runs, and every game that he plays, he's getting more experience. So I think so. I mean, who else is going to captain it?
So if
Mohammad Rizwan, maybe? I don't know. I doubt it. I think he's the man at the moment.
If you remove this question from the discussion, who else is going to lead? Do you still think that he's the right man to lead the team?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
60% think no, 40% say yes.
Well, ask the 68% who they would have. You'd probably get about 3 or 4 different names. Yeah.
Absolutely. Who was India's best player versus Pakistan? Was it Rohit Sharma, Mohammad Siraj, Jasprit Bumrah, Kuldeep Yadav?
Well, they've all got 2 wickets each, didn't they? You know, so they shared it.
There is a Sharma in there, Rohit Sharma.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Well, that's right.
Yeah.
For the bowlers, you know, they shared the wickets with Rohit Sharma. Just lit the stadium alight again. You know, I'd be going to Rohit Sharma. Did he win man of the match? I think he did, didn't he? I think he was the one really that, you know, was the pinnacle today. You know, there was a lot of others chipped in, no question, but he was the one for me. Diggy's available now.
Yeah, he's available now. Digvijay, glad you're able to find a spot there for us. And you have a lot of fans in the background. Is that what took you so long?
Here for a while.
I did try to establish connection with you.
I've been hearing all of you speak, but when so many people come out, of the stadium, then the bandwidth suddenly drops. I'll just step down so that you can see what's going on here. You know, all these Indian fans trying to get out of the stadium. We've got some young ones as well, and obviously everyone enjoyed the Indian performance. And I don't think I can go down there, so you'll have to just make do with my voice, because if I go down there, I'm going to get pushed around and there's not much space left, Isha. But this is what an Indian win does, especially because the sea of blue, wasn't it? Inside that Narendra Modi Stadium. And the performance from Pakistan was absolutely atrocious. Let's be fair. I've been speaking to a few fans. We'll upload that in just a bit, and that's going to run on a broadcast. But fans here, some of them I was speaking to, have paid 35, 40,000 rupees, and they've come to see a contest. Where's the contest, Isha? Where's the contest, Dev?
No.
You would think
where's
that,
the contest? Absolutely.
Teams are up for this contest. It's just one team which showed up.
Yeah, the contest lasted, I guess, for about 20 overs, and Pakistan batting. Innings, that was about it. The fans will be happy, of course, with the victory. I'm sure they would have preferred a closer game, but still, the fact that India won, have a look at them. They just absolutely happy and to go home. I hope they don't have to bloody walk so far, Diggy, because they need public transport to get back.
Digvijay, we do get a sense of, what you would have witnessed.
Traffic, not just traffic transport, not just public transport, Isha, because for everyone who's come, either by public transport or by their own cars, just imagine the amount of people you have in the stadium is probably more than Lord's, the Oval, Old Trafford packed in together. So the roads leading out of this stadium are going to be clogged as well. I think it's safe for me to say that I need to spend a couple of hours here inside the stadium, because if we can just turn our cameras that side, you see this entire mass of people who are moving out, they're all stalled over here because it's just one exit point, right? Then it has to be an orderly dispersal as well. The good thing is nobody's getting overboard. There's not over-the-top celebrations. We had some fireworks going off in the stadium, which is behind us, and everyone's just happy. And you look at these fans, you think you won the World Cup. India won the World Cup.
But Diggy, also, I just want to say, mate, do you agree that the Indian team just looked like a team that's world champions to me? The way in which they displayed their confidence. And their skills, their inner belief in themselves and the team, it just to me came across, I'm thousands of miles away, but it just came across through the television that they are a group of boys who have a lot of self-belief and they back it up with skill.
I agree with you, Dav. In fact, I think I was going to ask that question to you as well. You just look at the teams who've played in this World Cup. Who are the teams you think are looking good to win it? South Africa looking good, yes. New Zealand looking decent, and as they always do at these tournaments. And India, England have sort of flattered to deceive us, haven't they? And Australia have been out of it. So you started off with perhaps looking at, say, 6 teams who can probably win a World Cup. Right now, you're looking at maybe 2 and 3. And talking about the Indian performance, it's easy to get swayed by the crowd which is here. I was mentioning to you about when I was sitting outside in the stands and how sort of the crowd was going boom, boom, Bumrah, and the sort of cheers for Virat Kohli who was fielding at mid-off. But the way they embraced the occasion, and this is what, in a sense, frustrates me. And I think, Dav, you've coached Pakistan. How do you explain a team going from 155 for 2 and losing 8 wickets for 36 when there's no demons in the wicket? There's nothing there. The way India batted, they showed there was nothing in it. In fact, the game at Delhi, you could trust the bounce. Even here, not one ball sort of stuck onto the page or forced a fall shot. Even when Rohit was looking good for 100, he got dismissed. It was a great slow ball from Shah Afridi. So this is about the Indians know how to handle the occasion. I always say this, and Dav, I was telling you this, and we were talking about this as well, that the Indian teams just knows how to handle these big occasions. Perhaps it's because they play in front of massive crowds. Perhaps it's the IPL, which has sort of taught them how to sort of get their A game together on big occasions. But Pakistan froze. I don't know. I don't think I have any better word from it. You've got Babar Azam and Rizwan, the 2 most experienced players out there. You're playing shots and getting bowled to India's new bowlers who are coming back for their second spells. I just can't explain it.
Diggy, you started off by saying that how do you explain Pakistan's complete collapse? I know that a lot of people make mention of that over the years, and if you speak to people who have followed closely the Pakistan performances, they'll tell you that that's not an unusual occurrence. It happens from time to time.
As somebody pointed out, the last 3 outings against India, in fact.
But they have to they have to learn to overcome that. And I was telling Isha, you probably heard it where you were, that when Pakistan are playing the big teams, that's when they have to show the world that they're equal to it. Doesn't mean they have to win. They have to be as competitive as they can against the big teams. And sadly today that didn't happen. Now they've got further chances going forward, but they have to do that to reassure all their followers and the public in general, the world, that they're good enough to fight it out in the semi-final and final. Until they can do that, I think they're sort of like flat track bullies. They'll beat the perceived lower teams.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Do we still have the good? Yeah.
Are they good enough? Even as we see fans here going on and on, are they good enough? Are they good enough to convince fans that they're not just 20-over specialists, that they can sort of be consistent? Because those 3 C's that you use, choke, consistency, and what's the other one? I'm forgetting it. It just, all 3 never come together for them, do they?
No, certainly on this performance you'd have to say they're not good enough. So, we have to be a little patient and see how they perform against South Africa, also New Zealand, and England as well.
Isha, I hope you've asked Dav the 8-0 question. Everyone out here is only saying 8-0. But when you go into a World Cup, and this is going to go on every World Cup, which is possible, it's 8-0. And that clearly shows that it's now an albatross around their necks.
Well, it's been a trend, and we have been talking about it extensively, Digvijay. And in fact, I started the post-match show with the comment that this wasn't a cliffhanger. It was a big win for India, but do we not like to see a contest there? And as you also very rightly pointed out, hordes of fans coming in there. Sure, we rejoice in India's win. It's lots of fans rejoicing in it. But is this the kind of a contest we want to see between India and Pakistan time and again?
Not really. I think they'll be disappointed from that aspect. They would have much preferred the game go a bit longer. The win they're happy with, but no, it's not a good advert for World Cup cricket for 2 teams who are perceived to be big rivals.
Yeah.
It attracts a lot of interest around the world, but it was a bit of a non-event today.
He did point out a very good.
Isha, I'll just relay something. I'll just relay something from the fans. Just before we managed to establish a connection, a lot of them saying that, listen, we've paid a lot of money to come here. A lot of them are not just from Ahmedabad. They've come from all over India if they managed to get the tickets, right? And they're saying that, some of them saying, yeah, we want our money back because the ICC keeps selling us and flogging this dead horse. Oh, it's the big game. It's India versus Pakistan. It's all the hype. But when's the last time in a World Cup do you actually remember of it actually being a cliffhanger? I think you go back to 2003 when they got 270, Saeed Anwar got a great 100, and then Sachin and started off with that assault on Shoaib Akhtar. At some point that game got tricky, but then Rahul Dravid and Yuvraj Singh took India home. But I just don't remember an ICC event. Maybe the 2011 World Cup semi-final at some point was close. But it's, we were brought up on India-Pakistan matches like the great Javed Mianda doing what he did, or those matches in Sharda, or any other place. They were close games, at least till the 40th, 45th over, you still didn't know who's going to win that game.
Diggy, I just wanted to say that because there's no bilaterals now between the two countries, they get an opportunity to play in these world events. And there's so much interest in the whole world that ICC jumps on it. And yes, the difference between the two teams, I agree, is is a bit of a pole apart. But there's so much interest from fans because they don't play many bilaterals at all now. That there's a demand. There's a demand for tickets, and regardless of where they are standing in rankings or the perception of how good each team is, there will always be a demand for it, and that's why you've got so many people wanting to come, and a lot of people disappointed they can't get a ticket, and then the match finishes in this fashion, and then they say, hey, I want some money back,
And Digvijay, I don't know who your complaints are with. Are they with Team India for playing too well, or are they with Pakistan for, not giving India a tough contest?
Of course Pakistan, because at least you have one team which is consistent out here in all these contests, and the Pakistan team talks a lot, I in fact listened very intently to Babar Azam, and in fact we brought this up yesterday, and he spoke about how we've told the players how to handle the pressure and all of that, and even Dad agreed with me, saying that it's for the senior players to sort of take the youngsters under their wing, tell them what to expect, tell them how to handle the occasion. Now you tell me, and Dav, you the cricketing expert out here, you tell me, what more can Babar and Rizwan do? You've seen off the new ball. Pakistan 155 for 2. Okay, you get out, but then you laid the platform, right? On any other team, you would sort of expect the lower sort of middle order to kick in, at least get you to 270 to 80.
That's right. Look, there's two things there. One is the set batsman getting out, but you'll agree as well that once you get a 50, you've got to go on and get try and get 100. So yes, that's one point, but you'd still sort of say, look, they did half a job, give them a pat on the back. But number 5, 6, 7 and 8, they also have a responsibility to chip in and do some work, continue the good work that was done by those two boys who gave us the partnership. So they were guilty as well. So it's no point. That's the 2 points I want to make. First of all, the guys who got in have to get more, but having got out, then the others also have to come on. We got to do some work here and ensure that the team gets a sizable score.
I think as fans of cricket, one is disappointed because.
But is that what hurts? The lack of a fight.
Yes, absolutely. They got to look in the mirror. When you're brushing your teeth tonight before you go to bed, you look in the mirror and you got to ask a couple of hard questions. What did I do? What didn't I do? What should I have done? And they'd feel pretty bad. If you don't feel bad looking in that mirror, there's something radically wrong.
Digvijay, if you're still there with us, I think he's still there. We still have the connection with him. You saw Rohit.
I'm still there. I'm not going anywhere. There's no way to go. I'll just turn the camera. Where do I go, Isha? Just look here. Where do I go? I'm stuck here. I'm listening to you and Dav, and I'm trying to come in when I can. I hope the signal doesn't drop on us. It's a good chat.
Sure.
But this is an India-Pakistan game. We can go on as long as we want. This crowd, remember, it's a more than 120,000 crowd. It's going to take its time getting out of the stadium.
So give us a sense of what happened in the India innings. The way Rohit was hitting those sixes, hitting the ball all over the park, one of them as high as 90 meters. What was the feeling there in sitting there amidst that crowd, and when India was scoring those runs, especially Rohit?
In fact, I was lucky enough to be at the Delhi game, right? And this just felt like all of Rohit Sharma's greatest hits replayed. And the DJ
Are
was
you lucky
out some
for Rohit Sharma?
And it was just fun to watch because I'm not sure Rohit Sharma has anything to do with my praying for him or not. I think all of India is praying for him. But I just listened to Rohit very intently yesterday. And he even mentioned how he prepared for this World Cup. He said he took time off and he prepared the way he wanted to approach this World Cup.
Yeah.
And we are seeing that, right? We are seeing that there are certain shots which are his percentage shots. He's going for the shots if they are there. And the good news for India is when you get off to a start like that, he's not a pinch hitter like Shahid Afridi who will swat everything. He's a kind of a player who's calculated, who knows what shots he wants to play, and when they are coming off, it's putting the bowlers under significant pressure. Remember, when you're defending 191 and you're off to 60 inside the first 10, it's over, game over.
It is, Diggy. I just also want to reiterate what you said about the batsmanship and the technique of Rohit Sharma. He's not a brute muscle of the ball like Andre Russell or Chris Gale. He plays cricketing shots, and even the shots that are gone for six straighter one, I can understand the pull and the hook, wonderful shots, but he's got some strength in his forearms and wrists that enables him to have a clean swing of the arc of that bat and connect it and deposit it over the boundary. And it just looks like it's almost effortless. So it's not slogging, it is good cricketing shots, lofted cricketing shots that come from good footwork and a good swing of the bat. So it's not slogging, it's really good shots.
But Dav, if I could just want to get a follow-up in there. The fact is he's got 700s now in 19 innings? And the great Tendulkar had 6 and 44. Are India blessed? We had the great generation earlier, the golden generation. But sort of are India blessed to have Kohli and Rohit match winners in their own right, playing one after the other? So one plays 1 or 2 and the other one plays 3. And for India to win this World Cup, if two of them start scoring big runs, like we saw Kohli got India the win along with Rahul in Chennai,
yeah.
and then since then it's Rohit Sharma who's taken over. I mean, this is the best thing for this Indian team, isn't it? While all the other batters across other teams sort of seem like struggling to adapt to the conditions, these boys are absolutely loving it.
Well, they are, Diggy, and it's clear to see that they are loving it, and they know the conditions. And to me, looking at that batting order, it was much better than Pakistan. I think you're more closer to compare that to a South African batting order. Certainly better than Australia too, I have to say, and perhaps even better than New Zealand on paper. So to me, the South Africa game is looking like now the one that is the blockbuster game for me. And I'll be very interested to see how that pans out.
But I want you to just make a comparison, Dav. I want you to compare, say, a Babar Azam, the way Babar is playing as captain of his country, and compare it with the way Rohit is playing. Both different schools of batsmanship. But why is one player sort of playing fearlessly while the other seems a bit shackled?
Yeah, well, with Babar's case, Diggy, I felt that, those first 2 games, where he missed out 2 games that he really was expected to score. And when that didn't happen, there's a little bit of, confidence knocks you around, and you think a little bit more than what you should. So in Rohit's case, okay, he got out for a duck, but he batted on an absolute belter of a road in Delhi and made up for it with a magnificent innings. And then that gave him the impetus to go on. And we know that, his batsmanship is able to score all over the wicket. So to me, it is different. Sharma looks like he's just seeing the ball and hitting the ball, and he does it so well. Whereas Babar Azam looks like he's a bit cautious first, and then he thinks, okay, then I can play. So his first initial is to block it. Okay, no, it's not there to block. I'm going to go and hit it. Whereas Rohit Sharma is looking. The intent is different. The intent is a lot more positive, to score off every ball. It's confidence. It's confidence. Okay.
Yeah. Digvijay, it looks like you're going to have a long walk, at least to the out of the stadium. Yeah.
It's a bottleneck there, isn't it?
It's a bottleneck, yeah.
I am not walking, Isha. I hope you can see me. I'm still here.
Yeah,
I
know that.
Anywhere
I'm
right now. I can't walk anywhere.
When the crowds
I can't even. It's not even a 20-kilometer walk as they have in athletics, right? I'm stuck basically. I can't go here. I can't go there. I'm going to be standing here, and I'm going to be listening to you two fine people talk about this match, and I'll sort of come in when I think I have something more to add.
When we finish here, do you walk in the same direction as the crowd, or you go against the crowd to another rendezvous point, and then later come out of the ground?
No, I think he is just going to be immobile.
So at some point we'll have to walk with the crowd.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to walk with the crowd outside. So that's about a 1 kilometer walk, and then we've got to go and walk another kilometer till we can find our car, because the police have blocked all the roads. So if you're expecting me to get home soon, I'm not going to get home very soon. What I am looking forward to is a nice shower when I finally get back to where I'm staying. But I don't think with so many cars on their way back to Ahmedabad, because this is a bit of the outskirts, I think there is going to be at least a 2.5-hour journey before I can get back home.
Well, Diggy, we'll think of you when I get back home. I'll be having a little sip, a celebration drink. I'll think of you and I'll toast you. Job well done, mate.
Yep.
Let me remind you, it's a dry state. Ahmedabad and Gujarat is a dry state.
So they say.
Okay, Digvijay, what's the weather like there? It definitely played an important part in the game today. Is it still hot, or has it become better towards the evening?
It was frightfully hot.
It
was frightfully hot, Isha, and actually, let me tell you, I'm actually happy that this crowd is here and I'm not in the frame, because I'm just dripping sweat just because of how hot it is. But conditions for India were a bit better, because they were obviously batting when the sun had sort of set. But when Pakistan were out there, India were on the field, and it was very, very hot. One section of the stadium actually had a bit of shade, and that was the one which was against the sun at that point of time. But if you were unlucky to sit on the other side of the stadium, well, I do hope people were having their fluids, because I can tell you, I must have had 7 or 8 bottles of water through the day, especially each time you walk out to do our live hits. And especially, remember, our TV units aren't exactly
lightweight.
Light, they are pretty heavy. So you need to keep hydrated. And I think that's the key, to be hydrated.
For all the days you did not drink enough
dry
water.
State, so enjoy the water.
Diggy, talking about the weather, it just automatically thinking of a guy like young Shubman Gill coming back from illness. He's probably lucky he didn't have to bat in that first half. When you're batting under the helmet in the afternoon, it can become really taxing. So a bit of a blessing in disguise for him too, that the captain won the toss and bowled,
But also fielding in that heat.
Well, fielding's a little bit better. You haven't got the helmet, and you're not every ball that you face,
your
heart rate goes up. At least he can, he can get some drinks running out to him as well, quickly. But batting is a lot more taxing. So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise that a guy coming back from illness like that didn't have to put the pads on and bat in the afternoon, hot sun, under the helmet. So I think that was a good thing for him. And, you know, hopefully he'll get stronger from this.
Should they have played him today? Should they have probably given him another day of rest?
In fact, if I could just add, Isha, just something which I was watching while sitting up in the stands. In fact, the Indian support staff, you don't see them all the time on the telecast. But wherever the outfielders were, wherever the bowlers finished and over, they went back. The support staff were there. They were carrying fluids. They were carrying sort of these energy drinks, and they were carrying wet towels. You know, it's one just thinks that the job of the support staff is during the pre-match day, but even on match days, sort of especially in the sea, they're out there. After every over, going around the stadium, talking to the fielders, sort of checking up on them. So I think they must have had someone specifically for Shubman Gill, just to make sure that he was okay and at no point he was sort of struggling, because it was quite hot in the afternoon.
Just an interesting note on that. What the Australians do, and what I tried to bring in when I was coaching Kerala, we have 4 little ice chests placed at the 4 quadrants of the ground, fine leg, third man, both ends. And the bowlers or anybody that was wandering down there can open up that ice box, pick out a drink, rehydrate and put it back in. And that's always a good idea. The Australians have been doing that for quite a while. And that may be also another, you know, in hot conditions. And also what I see that they could use is ice collars. I don't know whether you've heard of it. Ice collars. There's a collar that you unzip, you put water, you put it in the freezer, and it's frozen. It's like a hanky that you tie around your neck, but it's full of ice.
All right, Digvijay, we hope that you get home soon and carry a couple of water bottles with you while you're there. And get home soon, get rest. You've had a long day. Thank you for all the updates you've been getting us from the Narendra Modi Stadium. And we will catch you again soon.
Travel
pretty
safely
soon.
back.
Travel safely back. And
thank you guys. Have fun. Thank you guys. Have fun. I'll be back in Delhi tomorrow, and I shall be exchanging notes with you on how to handle such a big crowd. I think one needs to get used to it. I perhaps need to factor some notes in, because the way I look at it, I could be coming back here on the 19th of November.
Surely, I think you should. Yeah.
All right, Digvijay, thank you so much for being with us through the day. Well, with that, we will have to wrap up this edition of WION World of Cricket. That's it from me and What More. Bye-bye. We'll catch you again soon.